Okay, hello and welcome to another Smite tier list. Today I'm going to do warrior passives. I finally realised doing warriors and that kind of thing is better than doing solo lane support lane because there's a lot less crossover. I'm a dumbass, I realised. But that being said, let's get into this. Actually, I'm going to say at the start for once. Please subscribe. You don't need to like it, just subscribe. Liking would be a great bonus, but please subscribe. My subscribers are bit, it's like what 95% of my people that view my channel are not subscribed. It's like my retention is not great, so if you could help me out with that, that'd be great. But that's a rumble that we don't need. So warrior passives, we're gonna start off with Achilles, and we're gonna type in that's not what I want. Achilles Smite. I know Achilles is his armor, but let's get some actual information. Okay, I'm gonna probably do this for most gods, except for ones I can explain myself, like easily and like all the numbers. Because even ones I know, I want to be sure, like, yep, this is definitely what his passive is. So, like, you got. So, this is with his armor. This is without his armor. So, 25 health bonus, 5. So, you obviously take your armor off the early game. So, let's just go back to strong. Oh yeah, these are the tiers as well. Cool but inconsistent. That's going to come into play with a few gods. But I think with Achilles, I'm just going to put in strong. It's a strong passive. Could maybe be top tier. I don't know. I would say it's strong though. It's definitely cool, but I'd say it's more consistent because you always know, okay, roughly when to do things with your passive. And it doesn't require you to do anything late game or early game to get it. It's just you always have it. It's not inconsistent. You always can change it. But obviously it's free. What's the word I'm looking for? Stats. So you got free prots, free health, which will help with whatever type of build you're trying to do. Be a bit more tanky, and then early game you got a bit more of a poke based game and a bit more like damage, a bit more kill pressure, a bit of movement speed. It like really helps you early game get some lane pressure, and that's why he's so strong in the game, is partially because of his passive. Just enables him to do more in that early game situation. But then late game you want to change and be a bit more tanky. You're not looking as much to do the killing. Obviously you want to with your ult, but you're looking for that health and that prots a bit more. So good, strong passive. Now, Armor provides an aura that makes basic attacks do more damage, but I'm gonna just gonna put this in. So this is for people maybe that don't know it, so they can read it themselves. So it's 10% increased damage taken for 5 seconds, and there's 3 auras available. Yep. So yeah, it can weaken other gods as well. So it's it's not a strong passive. It's obviously 10% more damage, and it can apply to multiple people, and it takes 3 hits to do, which is not a lot. My one inconsistency is if you attack minions. Obviously, it's on the minions. It's a bit iffy because then you're stuck without minions unless you kill that minion. So you're not getting on the god necessarily if they're not playing, next to that minion, which they should probably not if there's, an aura on it, because it's just extra damage that they shouldn't be taking. So yeah, just strong. It's not bad. Not a bad passive. Below does his movement speed, but I think there's other things to it. It obviously stacks. You get it from auto attacks. I know that. Fire protections and movement speed. And then it's 5 stacks, so she can get, where the fuck am I? Oh, we're down in the abilities. So she can get 25 stacks and 15 movement speed. Oh, that's not bad, you know. That's 25. It's another strong passive, you know. Oh, would I put on the same tier as these? It's not inconsistent though. It's pretty consistent, you know. Bologna, you're always going to be auto attacking. That's how she does her damage. Yeah, it is strong. It's just unfortunate. A lot of these are actually going to be strong. I think could even go in top tier because no, if that would go in top tier, then that would go in top tier because this does that, but probably better. Um, yeah, it's just a nice little passive that Bologna has. Gives her 3 stats. Yeah, I might change Bologna later to maybe like either Achilles up or Bologna down, but for now we're gonna go with Shock passive. I don't know. Shock passive's weak, I suppose, because the thing is with Shock passive is I don't want his build. Please tell me it didn't. Just fuck's sake. Why would I want to build for Shock? Come on, man. Actually, he did just solo variety, solo troll. I saw that. Anyway, so yeah, his passive is 5 basic attacks, the no mana, which is nice. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. But the issue is on Shaq you don't want to be auto attacking because it's a passive that makes you auto attack, but then it's an ability based uh passive. So it's really weird. It's like it forces Shock to do a hybrid kind of thing, which just doesn't help Shock um that much. Obviously, you will be auto attacking on any god at some point, like even like an RTO. You know, you're going to run out of abilities, so you just auto attack. But this is just a weird one. It's nice, but it's weird. Maybe put it in cool but inconsistent because depending on your build, like I used to go like this Ichabod build that FineOK did, and that was really nice because it enabled Shock to get like really fast auto attacks. But it's just a weird one, okay? Just a weird one. So we're putting cool but inconsistent. I think that's a better place to put it because I don't think it's actually that weak. Well, I know this one off the top of my head, but we'll do it anyway because obviously I'm like a Cullen main, so I will know Cullen's passive. It's all about his rage. But there's anything I didn't know necessarily about it. So yep, his yep. 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 It's just the berserk thing. Top tier, straight up. His passive is what makes Cullen really strong. Um, I do love his passive. It's really nice. Even though they nerfed the health shield not too long ago, they've nerfed a lot of things about his passive. Well, it's not necessarily his passive; it's his rage form. But his rage form is his passive, which is weird to say because it's such a strong ability. But I do quite like his passive, definitely for sure. Top tier. No, nothing really needs to be said about that. Lang Shen is his dog, right? Lang Shen Smite. Oh, you came out in 2016. Good to know. Okay, yep. So 15% of your attack power. It's not bad at all. It's just a strong one. You could maybe go cool inconsistent because early game it's only provide. But it's like I say it's only providing like 7 damage, but 7 damage early game adds up. It does actually increase your damage quite a bit, so it's quite strong. Yeah, pretty strong. It is cool. I do like his dog. I like that passive. Guan Yu, that's where it's like if you stack it a certain, I think it's 30 times or 20 times his thing evolves. This one's one I know, but I need to read again. This is why I've done this, so I can show you, but also show myself, because sometimes I don't remember. Painless. So each time takes a deal damage, max attack expands becomes active, and all the Guan Yu's. So yeah, so basically, needs to build up 20 stacks, and needs to do damage or take damage. Warrior's Will. Warrior's Will is his. Yeah. So it's a slow and a stun. Oh, okay. Healing, protection. Oh, I didn't know it did that stuff. Oh, and coverage as well. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. This is the top tier passive. I didn't even know that. It gives the boost to the abilities. Yeah, it's a good passive actually. Really strong. I never realized. Straight up, never realized. Yeah, definitely a strong passive. Horace Smite. Now, Horace's one is weird because it's to do with in part it's to do with set. Double the amount of stacks you get for it doubles if it's set. But I actually don't know his passive off the top of my head. So each time he damage, he gains a stack of Resolute, gains 2 stacks, CCR and Prots, and 10 stacks. So you can get 15, 50. Horus' healed is based on the amount of stacks. Oh, it's not a bad passive. It's not a bad passive. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a strong passive. It's not a weak, but it is a weak. It could be. Because the thing is with passives, none of them are really that bad. So you kind of got to put like ones that aren't that bad in weak. I wouldn't say there's any shite ones necessarily. But we're gonna go with King Arthur. Now, King Arthur's one is, I think's definitely gonna go in a certain category. Because, like, okay, let me just talk about Horus for a second, because I haven't really spoke about Erlang or Horus or Guan Yu. So Horus is passive, relies on him taking damage, to provide him with prots and CCR. If he's already taken a lot of damage before the prots and the CCR come in, then it's not actually going to be useful. And the heal is very minimal. So it's not a bad passive, but at the same time, it's not like a top tier passive. These wordings may be a bit bad. Like, I wouldn't say any are weak or shite. They're just like worst. They're the worst of a good bunch, because passives generally aren't very bad. Steadfast. So yeah, this is his passive, where it's the sword. All abilities are instant, so he has no attack speed. Cool for you, Deathloop. Attack speed increases energy gain. Yeah. So he can get 4% mitigation, 84% more energy gain at max stacks. Does not talk about his ult in that. It doesn't talk about his ult, but it also to do with his ult. I don't know if I count his ult in the passive. I don't think I do. So it's just 4% mitigation and energy gain. Oh, that's just a weak one. Only 4% damage mitigation. See, for when it first the ult, I'll put in cool consistent, but if it's just the passive itself, then it's quite weak. It's probably shite compared to most of the other ones. Because, like, this is, 15 prots, 15 CCR. This one's 2-second cooldown on 2-second less cooldown on its abilities, 5 stacks, and no mana usage. This one's his dog. Yeah, this one, like, just the passive alone is quite shite, but like the with the ult is cool but inconsistent, because it takes a while. Basically, the reasoning for that is it takes a while to stack his passive. Especially in the early game, if you get soloed, which is a possibility right now with how King Arthur is. Variety. Shark. No, but it's I should probably change the wording to like the worst of a good bunch, because it's not a bad passive. It's 3 stats at the end of the day, but it's not as good as the other ones. Okay, so Mulan, Smite. So I know Milan's passive, but let's get this one pulled up because it is quite a convoluted passive. Yes. Okay, so it's to do with doing damage with each skill. So you get different stuff. So you get like sword. You get you just start off with doing two attacks, and then it's attack speed buff, and then a third strike. Then this is the one that's good. It's heals, second time, 5% power, and then it's protection buff, dash to walls, prots. This does count as passive because then it'll be the same with King Arthur. But even still, I'm putting this in cool but inconsistent because, or even shite. This could even go in shite because actually no. If we're just doing the passive, if we're only doing the passive, then all it is upgrading a skill. If we're going to be like this for King Arthur, we're doing the same for Mulan. Consistency, it's important. It's the same thing though. It'd be cool but inconsistent because. Sorry about that. Okay, so Milan would be cool but inconsistent because her skills require her to do damage to level up. They can take the entire game to level up depending on how the game is going for Mulan, and it quite easily could be going very badly for her. And her skills, her passive does not enable her to easily carry that back into the game. So that is why her thing is inconsistent. Because if you're ahead, it feels really nice. But if you're behind, it feels really bad. Oh, fuck off with the builds. I don't care about a Nike build. I don't play Nike. I actually don't know her passive. Yes, I do. It's the wreaths around the head. I lied. So it's 10 gods, 250 enemies, and allies. So it gives you 3% power, 2% movement speed, but it's the whole team, so you gotta think this. Oh, and the laurel kind of yeah. So it's 15 as a team, and then 10% as a team. Ransom plus 6% power and. Did it double then? I'm confused. Why? How is it going up to 6% power? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I'm being dumb, but this is just like a. It's not weak. It's not weak because. No, we will go with weak because it requires on your team to do things. It's not you, and it takes a while to get into it. Obviously, it's not terrible, but it's not like 3%, even 6% and 4%. It's not great. This one easy. This one everyone can do quite easily. So that one won't take long. But it's these two. Like that you get like 20 minutes into the game probably, and if your team's behind even later, that you'll get depending on the game, could be like not even till like 25 minutes. It really depends on how the game is. So that's what we're gonna do that for. Odin passive. Now playing Odin, you don't notice his passive too much. Fuck off with these builds. Why are you doing this? Curses, I need to stop pressing space. Like Odin obviously is very good, but his passive is some power and movement speed. It's not a bad passive because it can stack up to 5 times, and it's anyone. It's not just your yeah. It's 40% power. It's 40% power. That's just that actually is probably a top tier passive because in team fights, you know, you're going to be easily getting that 40% and 20%, and you're going to be just doing a lot of damage. I don't notice it when I'm playing him, but it probably is actually playing a very large part in why I'm able to do so many things with him. Alongside the passive result. It's just a passive result. Yeah, that's a weird one, but it is what it is. Ooh, Osiris passive. That's a fun one. I didn't do a space. Well done, me. Well done. So Osiris is an interesting one because who are you the son of? Hold on. Geb and you're son of Geb. Cool. Anyway, so right. It's eight things, and then it gives you prots. No mitigation, sorry. So this is spirit form. He may walk through enemies and their walls. And Yeah, he gains damage mitigation at 8. So he has no, not 8. He gains mitigation per stack, and then it's 8 stacks. So then he has 8 stacks of that, and then he can walk through things, and he doesn't have a basic attack penalty. That is a strong passive. That is a strong passive, actually. Yeah, strong passive. Really, really like that passive. You can walk through like Ymir Wall, Odin Cage, etc., etc., etc. You can obviously just walk at people and not worry about basic attack penalties. He gives you free stats as well. The one issue I would have with it is only like a very short passive if you're using it in a fight, and then obviously you lose it as soon as you do your auto attacks. But that is the price you pay. Sun Wukong passive. Now this is an annoying ass passive. Sun Wukong Smite. Honest game trailers. Interesting. So he's got. This is one that makes him do more damage, and yeah, so 50% health, 10%, 10 physical power, 10 prots, and then another 2 and 1 for level. And then he maintains the buff for 12 seconds. This is just tops. It's a really strong thing because when you're fighting in lane 1v1, that just fucks over the enemy so hard. Because it's like, oh, I'm gonna kill him, and then like he just gains extra prots, extra power, and he just all of a sudden just does half your health with one ability. It's insane how much Wukong can do when he so chooses. So top tier, definitely. Tier passive. It's a good passive, you know. It's actually an underrated passive. It's he can only be stunned for 1 second. I think it's hard CC. It's like one. Actually, not 100% sure what he needs, but it's definitely he can be stunned for 1 second. There might be other things as well. I think it might be like rooted and stuff like that. So he can stuns, taunts, fears, intoxicates, and mesmerize for longer than 1 second. So this is just a strong passive. You know, it's not a weak passive because it's just built-in CCR for tier, and then he can get even less CC. He can even get even more CCR. So it's insane how much tier passive can mean he just doesn't get stunned, and that's why tier can survive so much. A lot of it is due to his passive. It's an underrated passive. Now here's one I definitely don't know. For mana, I've actually never played with mana in my life. I just don't like the god. I haven't played him, so I can't say I don't like him, but yeah. It's never one that's appealed to me. Percentage of physical protection compared to physical power. That's not too bad, you know. 4.2 default at level 1. So at level 20, you get 15.2 physical power without any prots. It's not a bad passive. It's probably going to go the same as these. Maybe go a bit inconsistent. I don't know. It's like in the middling tier, I would say. It's like it really depends on what build you go, because if you go on like a full damage build, you're probably actually gonna have that many prots. Because people seem to do that. They seem to go just like no prot for mana all the time. And I'm like, okay. But if you're building prots, then he's probably actually quite good. So I'll give it a cool bit inconsistent. It's not really consistent. It's just a middling tier. I wouldn't say it's weaker, but I wouldn't also say it's like super strong. And then Gilgamesh. So obviously his quests. And I do know where this one's going. So yeah, Gilgamesh in box at level 5 and level 10. So it's split location on the map, and then it's dealing damage equal to half their team. So cool being consistent. Reasons why. Level 5 quest. Well, can spawn anywhere on the map. And it doesn't give you a set item. So that item could be really useful. Or it could be tier 1 mask. Or it could be tier 1 Pridwin. Or it could be tier 1 base. Like, you've got like an infinite amount of options. Like, it's never going to be terrible, the option, unless it's mask right now. Because you're not going to If you're getting mass from the passive, you're kind of screwed because you're not ever going to build Rengar's mask not first, but then you're not even building Rengar's mask right now at all. So it's cool but inconsistent. That's like the one bad one you can get. So yeah, it's just not a bad one, but it's not like a top tier. It is 3 items though. Some of these passives I don't necessarily know if I agree with. Like, would I put this in the same as this? Yes. One thing I've stressed throughout this video is none of these passives are necessarily bad. Like these two are actually very good passives, especially when you pair them with their abilities, which I didn't. These two aren't bad passives either. These 3 aren't bad passives. None of them are bad passives. It's just how they are. Compared to the other passives, because these can definitely be wrong. Like, Bologna probably can go down because it's of how it is, and Tyr can go down, and Wukong can go down, and Tyr can go up, and it's all a little bit subjective. Like, none of these passives are terrible. You don't really pick gods because of passives necessarily, so keep that in mind. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know if you disagree in the comments. I'm sure you'll disagree with at least one of them.